Last little bits of 2D precision. What's up? I'm Jonathan and welcome to Maker Tales, where I'm sharing my maker journey to help you go further in yours. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon to never miss an opportunity to keep making. This video is all about finishing off the learning curve of 2D precision. Yes, there's always going to be more to learn. However, at this point, once we get through it, I think it's going to be time to go into the 3D space. So this time round, we're going to go ahead and start with the net of the cube that we created on the very first video of 2D precision. Let's take this into edit mode, and basically in the long run we're actually going to turn this into a 3D object, but what I want is a hole going from this surface to that surface, so we might as well go ahead and add a hole right this minute. Yes, what I'm showing you right this minute is probably a very convoluted way of doing 3D modeling, but the truth is, it's a great spiral learning path, because what I'm going to be showing you is how to do this in the most manual way possible, so then when it comes to manual difficulties, you won't have a problem there, and then you'll see just quite how easy things can get within Blender. So let's go ahead, let's go into our top view, and let's prep this up. Let's just select it all, hit F, so we have faces everywhere already. Let's go into face selection, remove the two faces where we're going to be putting our holes. Right, so let's select these two edges here. So come on, edge selection, Jonathan. Selecting those, screw it, it's selected everything. That's fine, because all we're doing is moving our cursor to the center to then be able to add a circle. And then we'll make the circle, not the vertex count, this one, 0.25 millimeters of radius. And let's prep the other one as well. So let's go over here, grab these two here, go Shift S, then cursor to selected, so that will bring us right to the middle of those. And let's create another circle. Right, with those two now in place, I want to recap doing it the slow way and the quick way, and a little thing to keep in mind when you're doing limited dissolve on such a flat surface. So the slow way is a little bit tedious, but it's good to know because of the precision side of things. So let's fuse those two. Let's go ahead and fuse those two. Then using circle selection, let's go ahead and select all of these vertices here that comprise of one of the faces. And then let's hit F to fill that. And then let's select the rest of this here. So we're selecting that there, this here, that one, and we're filling that up. There we go. A very precise circle with edges that we know are exactly as we want. Right, let's go and do the quick way up here now. So let's select all this here. Let's go with our lovely Alt F, and now you would expect we could just go X and limited dissolve. Be ready for what's about to happen. Have you realized what's just happened? We have just lost two edges that we probably wanted. We have an edge here that's supposed to exist and an edge up here that's supposed to exist, but now we no longer have that. Of course, there is a tool for cutting a face. Now, we already know that we could cut a face technically using our auto merge, but I want to just sort of reiterate what's happening here, because yes, I've shown you one way of doing it with auto merge, but that was going very much in a straight line, going from a vertex across an edge. So let's go into our menu here, back to our auto merge where we have our split edge faces on. We're going to select this vertex and that vertex there, and we're going to hit F. Now you might think that that has just cut the face. I'm sorry to say, but that's not the way Blender works. So let's go ahead, let's undo this, and let me show you. First of all, it will work up here. So we can extrude this out. Let's go on the X, just drag it all the way out. And there we go. Then we can do a delete of that vertex here, and that has been cut. Okay? But now I want to show you the knife tool, how to cut a surface. So let's go ahead, let's turn off auto merge and hide this menu, and let's go and get this shortcut going. So the shortcut for what I'm about to show you for the knife is K. K for knife. And right this minute, we can go ahead and just drag the knife right across there, hit enter, and that's that face now cut. Now there's a lot more to the knife tool, especially when it comes to the 3D space, but I just wanted to first introduce it to you here whilst we're in the 2D space. So with that now cut, let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about faces. So I did mention something called normals before. Now normals are very much part of a 3D object, and I guess the easiest way I could explain it as look at this as wrapping paper. Wrapping paper has two sides, the outside and the inside. Usually the outside has a pretty pattern on it and the inside doesn't have much. In fact, you could say that it's bare, it's blank, or it's empty. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we show you what normals are. So this means that a surface has an outside and an inside, because these are usually within 3D objects. We can turn on the visibility of our normals right here with face orientation. There's also this one down here that gives you a little line, but that usually works better for the 3D environment when you're really trying to understand what direction normals are going. But what I want to do is I'm going to turn this on. And for me personally, I already have this right clicked and I've already added it to my quick favorites. So you can go ahead, right click and add it to your quick favorites. So as you've seen, it's gone blue and red. So blue is outside, red is inside. And when I go to the other side, you'll see that that has flipped round. So let me first show you that you might have encountered this ever so often is if we toggle on X-ray, all the ones that you see the inside of look like they're null, they're empty, there's nothing there. And that's one of the things that I wanted to show you. Because you might have got this when we were doing X-ray and you might not have quite understood what was going on at the moment, but here we go. What's happening is normals. So the normals, so the outside of an object is going to be a solid object, but the inside technically you should never really see. So considering that this is going to become a box and we're going to be flipping this one up and then we're going to flip these ones, all this that is blue is actually the wrong way round. So let's go ahead and let's select everything that is blue here. And now let's go ahead and flip this. So this should become red. And how are we going to do this? Well, I want to show you again, just repeating how to quickly find shortcuts. Let's just go with a space and we're flipping here, flipping normal. So let's just type in flip. So F-L-I-P and look, normals, flip. Alt-N, well, I know that that isn't really what's going to give you. What that's going to give you is a menu. But you'll see, if we type in Alt-N, and for those that have NVIDIA experience, you might need to change a shortcut right this minute. So just be careful there. And here it is, flip. Now there's also this one, which is recalculate outside, which is the blue area. And there's recalculate inside, which is the red area. Of course, it's a bit hard to say what is inside and outside when you're just a 2D flat object. So what it's going to do is just plop everything in one direction or plop everything in another direction. So there you have it. However, what we can do is just go with that Alt, hit flip, and we've got it that way around. So let's go once again, Alt-N, flip. So everything that was selected just got flipped. So if we wanted to flip just this face, Alt-N, flip. All right, there is also Shift-N, which recalculates things, and you can set what type of calculation you're wanting. But that is very much more within the 3D space. And that's all I'm going to really touch on normals for now. We're going to go a lot more in depth with normals when it comes to the 3D aspect of things. But I wanted to introduce it to you here because now we understand what faces are. So think of it as a wrapping paper. This is the outside, this is the inside. Usually you don't want to see red. Now that we understand normals, I think it's time to bring some precision back into this course, because obviously we've just done a whole bunch of stuff, but we've never had dimensions really. Apart from the grid and the units that we've put in, we haven't seen any numbers that tell us the size of things. So let's go ahead and remedy that. So first, I'm going to go ahead into the quick menu, turn off this face orientation, and then I want to show you 4 ways of seeing this dimensional data. Now 2 of them are very much built in Blender and 2 of the other ones are add-ons, and one of them is technically a hacky way of using an add-on. So let's go ahead, and the first one is in overlays. You're going to see measurements. You might have spotted this before, and if we turn all of these on, you're going to see an overwhelming amount of information. It only works with what is selected, so if you select everything, it can become very overwhelming very quickly. Okay, so that's that, but it can be quite useful if you're just wanting to know a quick length, by the way. Okay, so that's that one. Next up is, let's see what else Blender has. Well, Blender has this right here, Measure. This is the Measure tool. So let's click it and see how to use it. Let's go in the top view for a moment. Let's go out here and let's just click and drag, and we get this white line. And as you see, it's a measurement. In fact, it's a very accurate measurement. And we can also click on that line and pull out, and it gives you an angle. It no longer gives you a measurement though. We can change it by going to any of the points and moving them like this, and these are snappable points, and they're also within the 3D space, so keep that one in mind. So let's go ahead and let's turn vertex snapping on. Let's go and grab this one, let's snap it to there. Okay, great. So let's go ahead, let's create another one cutting across, and let's say I want to delete it. Well, let's go ahead and just hit X, and that's it deleted. And then you select the other one, hit X, and that's it deleted. So we have our vertex snapping right this minute. So let's just go ahead, let's hold down Control for our snapping, and you'll see that it's going to snap to almost everything. And then let's pull this one out there to there, and there we have 1 millimeter. Now here's the downside. If you move out of measure, that's gone. And on top of that, if we go into our edge selection and we go G, X, and let's just pull this out a little bit, and we go back to measure, it comes back, but it's not parametric. It does not follow where you've snapped it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's undo what we've created here, because obviously this is not that useful. So I'm going to show you first the hacky way of going about things to measure. If you're just needing a quick measurement, I actually quite enjoy using CAD transforms. So I'm going to go Alt-C, going to make sure that nothing is selected, and then I'm going to go G, and I'm just going to snap to this vertex here, and then without clicking, I can see that that is now 1 millimeter. Great, that's exactly what I wanted to know. And that's it. That's a very nice and quick, simple measurement tool. Is it quicker than the Measurer? It's up to you for that. But we do have one more. This last method of measurement is actually an add-on we already have installed, and it's called Measureit. It's hidden away in our tools right here under our View, Measureit Tools. Now, this add-on is quite extensive, and I'm only going to be giving you a crash course of it. So do note that I'm probably not giving it its full due. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and hit Show. We're going to go ahead and select one of these edges here, or you can select 2 vertices, and we're going to hit Segment. As you can see, it has created a measurement. So this measurement has some problems. So let's first go to the units and change it to millimeters. Let's set the decimal place precision to 4. And you know what? I don't really like that blue, so I'm going to change that blue to a green. And in fact, I would like to change a lot of this, but right here, that there is the measurement that's been created, so we can even name the measurement. And you know what? I'm actually going to delete it because I want to set up the default before I go ahead and create more measurements. So I'm going to delete it here, and right here there is configurations. So let's click configurations. Let's change so that the default color is a nice bright green, and let's go for the text size to be 20. Okay, great. And you know what? There's more to do here, but for now, let's just leave it at that. So now if I go ahead and hit Segment, it creates it green and with larger text. Right, but let's talk about the elephant in the room here, which is this line is not straight in the slightest. Now, this is to do with the way that Measureit is trying to automatically align this with the mesh. It's very much used to working with 3D geometry, so when you give it a 2D face like this to work with, it can get a little bit confused, so you have to manually help it. It's also quite good practice to know how to do this manually, because then when things go wrong in the 3D space, you can manually put it back. So to change where that is, let's open up this little cog, and you will see that if we scroll down, we have automatic position. We don't want it to automatically position. Let's turn that off, And you know what? That's sort of fixed it out. That's it fixed. So let's see if we get the same problem if we do it up here. So let's click that there and let's go ahead and hit segment. A lot more substantial problem this time. So let's see what's going on. So let's first name this top one so that we don't forget that we've done it, and let's close the cog and let's go ahead and open up this new one. So let's name it, let's call it B for now, and let's turn off automatic positioning, and that has not helped in the slightest. So let's fix this. Well, here they are. This is the X, Y, Z. This is the positioning of this little bit that comes out. So let's turn these all to 0, and then all we're wanting to do is move the line out on the Y, because the Y is our green line there. So let's go here, let's go Y, and let's move that out. And there you have it. So that means that if we wanted these to be inwards, all we have to do is move it the other way. Now, here's the real great part of Measureit. It is parametric. So if we go ahead and click this edge here, and we go with our default movement of G, and we move it, let's constrain it on the X, and you can see how the units change. Yes, unfortunately, we can't go ahead here and click it, and that does it, but we do have CAD transforms, so that's good. So if we left click it there, nice and short, let's go ahead, turn on CAD transforms, and let's go ahead and do a scaling of this. So let's just scale this back to 1 millimeter. So with that done, let's go ahead, let's hit S. We have vertex. We have vertex selection on. So let's select this vertex here, this vertex here. Now we can move it out, and you know what? I'm just going to type in 1 and then millimeter, so mm, and that's it done. I hit enter, and you can see the precision is dead on. And with that there, let's just show you two more little things, which is let's go ahead and let's sort out how to create an angle. So for angles, you need to go into vertex selection. Let's select 3 angles manually, because if you select all 3, it has a little bit of a hard time knowing where it is that you want. So let's click angle, and that's the angle placed. Now, something to keep in mind with this. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it, and I can do in the future if you let me know in the comments, but there is also a way of rendering out all this information that you have, so you can actually composite this back on to 3D mesh or 2D mesh so that you have all this. Now, the last thing that we're going to do is let's go ahead, let's hide this away, let's close this up, and let me show you just one last thing. Now, we have a good fundamental grasp of 2D precision. So this could actually already be something that you're wanting to cut out, be it on some sort of vinyl cutter or a laser cutter, so you're wanting this to be exported out so that you can use it. Well, let's go ahead and do exactly that. We added 3 add-ons for this. Well, technically 2. One is Outline to SVG, and the other one is the DXF import export. So let's go ahead and use Outline to SVG first. So it's over here, Outline to SVG. You have to set up your toolpath, your Inkscape installation to make sure that this works. So make sure you go check that out. There's a link down in the description if you need more information. I'm going to be working at Illustrator, so I'm going to be changing this to 72. I'm going to go ahead and set up a camera. I'm going to view through that camera, and I can see that that camera can very easily see this right here. Great. So what I'm going to do is go into object mode, select this object right here. I'm going to tell it where I want it to export. Now that I know where it's going to be exporting, I'm just going to say in total, I just want this whole shape exported. So I'm just going to hit export SVG, and right there, we'll wait 2 little moments. There we have it, the message box that has told us where it has been saved. So let's go ahead and let's open this up in Illustrator. So here in Illustrator, I'm just going to go and drop in this SVG, and we can see, yes, it is very small. Remember that this is only a 2mm by 2mm cube. So let's go ahead, let's select all this. Let's go ahead and remove that fill that we have. Let's go also and make this stroke a very nice and small stroke. So let's go maybe with a 0.01. There we go. Now we can just quickly double check the dimensions. So this would be 3 millimeters across. Well, you can see it's exactly 3 millimeters across. And you can see here the small margin of error that we get. So this should be exactly 4 millimeters up. Well, it's 3.99998. It's pretty damn close. And these circles here, let's go ahead and select one of them. Here you go, 0.4995 by 5.002. It's as close as we can get because Blender works through basically what it does is it's doing pixel estimation here. So there's a whole bunch of pixels here, and that's why the DPI changes this. Right, let's go ahead and do the other version. So let's select this, what we're wanting to export. Let's go File, Export, and we will have it right here, AutoCAD DXF. Let's export this over. Let's head back over to Illustrator, and now let's drag and drop this DXF file into here. So we're going to see original sizing. Yep, 1 millimeter is 1 millimeter. So let's go OK. And then here we'll have it, this teeny tiny neat little file. Now, yes, you may have noticed what's just happened here. So DXF will triangulate everything that you have. So there is the caveat to this. It might be very precise, but it is going to triangulate this a whole bunch. So if you wanted to clean this up, you now have a lot of work to go in, selecting all the edges that you're not wanting, deleting those, and then going back there, deleting these, and well, you basically get the idea of what I'm saying here. Those are two methods of exporting. And of course, if this was just a DXF that you got from somewhere else, instead of hitting export, you could import, and that would be it there. So that is just something that I wanted to point out, because technically, if you have a laser cutter, you can already create laser cutting files using both of these export functions. Well done for getting through that video. You now truly have a grasp of the fundamentals of 2D precision. Yes, there's a lot more still to cover, but to be honest, this is going to get you a good 80% of the way there, especially when it comes to 2D precision. Now, from this point on, we're going to be taking quite a big step because we're going to be adding a whole other dimension to the equation. Stick to the end for a little something extra. A huge thank you to my patrons. You guys are absolutely awesome, and it's the reason why I can make these videos right here. And if you're enjoying these videos and you think I'm worthy of your support, I would love to see you there too. Don't forget that we have a Discord channel, and that is linked down in the description. Thank you for watching, keep making, and let the quest continue. For the truly bold of you, down in the description is this obstacle course to truly test if you understand all the fundamentals that we've covered of 2D precision. If you have any trouble with it, we also have the solution video down in the description.